Okay, well, hey there, everyone. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and this is Correspondences for Work and Magic on the 14th day of September 2021. Now, Tuesday is what it is. It's a Mars day, so we're going to be looking at those kinds of correspondences when we're looking at this. The favorability is excellent. Things you can do today involve passion, manifestation, creativity, self assertion, and reducing conflict. And this is kind of well, it's really about controlling your own reactions to uncomfortable situations brought about by people that seem to want to express their own personal freedom these days, but they don't really respect the choice the rest of us are making to express our own. Uh, and sometimes it gets violent, sometimes it gets volatile. You'll have people that are videoed who ultimately oftentimes lose their jobs after doing so. There was one of a woman coughing on people wearing masks and ridiculing them and laughing at them for wearing masks, and she's coughing on them. Well, it was on video, and what I read is she got fired from her job. Once the company, once people find out who she is, they let the company know, hey, do you know your person's doing this? Well, they don't like it, and I don't blame them. But again, exercising whatever they view as personal freedom, which is likely illegal, some of it, and some people get arrested for this kind of behavior. So, I don't know if that happens in every case, but there are consequences, in other words. So it's best to just let those consequences play out for them and not engage in that. This is really an issue, I think, of perception, and is it ego based or spirit based, and and are these people in fact being influenced by someone else's agenda that's nefarious and wants to upend civil society, basically, by convincing them that oh yeah, these are the things to do. There's a Rolling Stone article out about them using betadine now. This is nuts. Betadine's toxic to ingest. You don't do it. But yet at the same time, you can see how people are being influenced by, I don't even know who does this, but they're being influenced by somebody. So but part of practicing witchcraft, being a witch, surrounds understanding the greater picture and knowing when to act. And when to observe a situation. It's one reason why the number 7 resonates with its focus on observation and allowing things to settle out before forming an opinion or taking action regarding it. So for today, let's craft a working that controls the impulse to engage with or react to the behavior of those who are volatile or otherwise out of control. Refer to today's rune divination for perspective and take note of today's 5 numerology and its impact on change and the need for protection. I will just tell you, my husband and I used to teach karate. We used to teach Kempo. And we did that for a long time and had our school and all of that. And I will just be honest with you. The very first thing you tell your students is in a situation where it looks like you're going to be attacked, because you can tell, it doesn't necessarily come at you when you don't see it happening. You can sense the energy. You can see what the look is on their face. First thing you do is probably just run away before ever trying to defend yourself. Try to escape. And so how do we do that in this regard? Before we say walk into a grocery store where we know there's going to be triggers in there, or people are going to be triggered themselves, then you bathe yourself in a white light, you shield, you work on some I am statements and whatever you have to do to bring yourself to the awareness that I'm not going to engage with whatever happens. I'm going to leave. And if at all possible. And sometimes these folks don't make it possible for you to do so. And I'm not advocating, self-defense or anything unless you absolutely had to. But the idea is to raise your vibration enough that you're not going to get involved with them. You're not going to make eye contact. You're going to walk away. And you're not going to engage with them, because I don't think it's going to make any difference. And I think engaging only ratchets things up. So Anyhow, we're dealing with, because here's the thing, we're dealing with volatile energies that are impacting others in a way that sends them down this proverbial rabbit hole of conspiracy stuff, and trying to reach them directly will likely increase that volatility. So I just think controlling our reactions seems to be the safest choice. So you can refer to the correspondences for today from the actual post there on Medium or not Medium, but on Patreon. Well, there's also one on Medium, but this part is not on Medium. So this is the part that's on Patreon. So anyway, you can refer to the correspondences to set up the altar or workspace to achieve your objective, taking note of the powerful effect of dragon's blood, incense, or resin on increasing inner strength, which you'll likely need in moments like that, should they arise. In fact, you might consider an herb-related spell using a cauldron. And you have a couple choices there. You can use a small one, like what you would, and you put a little ritual charcoal in it, get it burning, and then you can drop your dragon's blood incense on that. Or you can use a bigger one if you want to. This is my bigger one. And I think that, and then I also have a bigger, like a Dutch oven type of one that I use outside. I also use the bigger one here outside as well. But you can use nettle, which is an herb of Mars that provides balance and courage, deflects hexes and curses, and removes negativity. And you can take some crushed nettle. I've got some right here. I went out in the kitchen and crushed up a couple of nettle leaves and drop it into the cauldron on the burning coal to burn away any volatility from others, as well as to control your own reactions. Now, if you don't want to do a fire/herb type of spell, I mean, you can do another one if you want to. One thing I like to do, let me move my cauldron out of the way here so I can see what I'm doing. I like to work on small container-like things. And I like to either use mirrors, or I like to use clear plates. Mirrors are reflective, so it depends on what I'm doing there. But here, I'm just going to use a clear plate, and I have a circle of sea salt around it, and and I do that as just sort of like a mini circle around this particular. I mean, this is just a one way you can do this. And it's just a very small container type situation where everything goes in the center of it, within the ring of salt. And what I've got here, I'm working with planetary solids. This one here is jasper. This one I don't think is jasper. I think this is actually carnelian, but they match the red color. Carnelian's not really listed in under the Mars correspondences, but jasper is. But it's red, so we're going to use it. And then what I'm also using here is the planetary seal of Mars. All right. And I'm going to include a picture of that on the Patreon post. And then what you do from there, what I've done from there is as I do my chant, whatever, and you can create whatever chant you want, whatever words you want to speak. I just sprinkle the nettle on top of the seal of Mars. And remember, seals stop stuff from happening, stop the forces from happening, from doing things, and whereas the squares invoke. And so you definitely, since you want to tamp down the volatility both in basically in yourself, then you're going to want to use the seal of Mars to do that. And so that's going to help control impulses, and then supported by the two planetary solids there to keep you grounded and all of that. So I have a triangle and a square that I'm using for that. But again, the idea is to control your own reactions to individuals who want their own freedom of expression without extending the same to others. It's like they want to impose and harm you, their own beliefs on you, and then harm you in some way. And they may not feel by coughing on you that that's what they're doing, but in fact they are, because if they have the virus, well, what do you think's going to happen? And so it's just an amazing thing that's happening. It's confounding, and I don't understand it, but at the same time, I guess I do, because they've been impacted so much by ongoing propaganda put forth by people that want to disrupt society, basically. Um, they're literally being used, and one at some point they're going to discover that, but I think that unfortunately we're going to have to let them do that. I don't think sitting down and having a conversation with them is going to make any difference at this point. So at this point, we all just have to live our own truth and see how that manifests out, and the cause and effect of all of it. I think that the cause and effect, if they pay attention to it, is pretty clear. But we still have those that seem to want to reject it and be involved in all of this violence and all this upset that just doesn't need to happen. Again, being pushed on them without them realizing it by others. And so, another individual or a set of individuals' agendas. And so, again, it's just something where we have to rise above this and figure out a way to control our own responses in it with respect to it. If you see a situation building, leave. Don't get out your phone and start videoing it, because you could become part of it. Just leave the area immediately, and ignore what's going on. If they're yelling at you, just ignore it and keep going. This is not something that you need to be involved in, and whatever we can do to align our energies in a way that can control our own impulses, I think the better off we're going to be. So that's it. That's my recommendation for today. Let's see if there was anything else. Well, I'll just tell you the rune divination involves Vunyo, Ansus, and Thurazaz. So check that out. And let's see. I think I need to make a few more changes on this before I put this on, because I think that we're no longer in, I don't think we're in first quarter now, so I've got to change that as well. So I'll go through this and make sure it's all up to date before I post it over there on Medium, or I'm sorry, on both Medium and Patreon, and then this video will also go up on Patreon above the post as well. So anyhow, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.